We got a special boxing heavyweight championship breakdown coming at you guys. Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury, the trilogy. Let's get into it.
The teller, the teller, the teller.
It's another day. Left jab, right jab. This is MMA. Mixed martial arts, quick body parts, undefeated when I pick 'em. Who the champ, who the victim? Looking in my crystal ball, I predict the winner. Never stop fighting. If you lose, keep your chin up. Know how the game go. I'm a smart fella. Welcome to the show. This the MMA fortune teller.
The MMA fortune teller.
The teller, the teller, the teller, the teller, the teller.
What is up, you guys? The teller. We're going to be talking some boxing here. Tyson Fury taking on Deontay Wilder. You guys know I typically stick to the MMA breakdowns, but when it comes to a fight like this, we have to take a dive into it. I mean, we're talking about the heavyweight championship of the world on the boxing side of things. I mean, this is a big time fight. Although, in my opinion, Fury already won the first 2 times around. Wilder is a guy that has absolute dynamite in his fists. And, anytime that you square up with a guy like Deontay Wilder, you could be on the losing side of things. I mean, that is a fact. I'm going to get into how I think this fight's going to play out, though. I'm going to talk about a couple different things going into this fight. Right now, Tyson Fury is the favorite, of course. He's right around that minus 280 range with the comeback on Deontay Wilder at plus 220. And I think if you're taking Deontay Wilder, you better be hoping that he gets a knockout or multiple knockdowns or something, because I just do not see him going in there and being able to keep up round for round with a guy like Tyson Fury. I feel like that we've already seen that play out for multiple rounds. We're gonna get into the first fight first and foremost. And we'll come back to the specs on these guys. But yeah, I mean, the first fight, I personally felt that Tyson Fury absolutely dominated that fight. I rewatched that fight multiple times. I think that you can argue that Deontay Wilder may have won 3 to 4 rounds possibly. And I think you might even be pushing it with the 4. I mean, I truly believe that if you watch this fight, and you take off, any type of bias that you have, take off the bias hat, and you actually break down this fight, I don't see how anybody could have thought Wilder even did enough to even come close to putting a draw on this fight. I know he had the big knockdown. You can even give him that round, which even that round was arguable because Tyson Fury dominated pretty much that entire round besides the point where he got knocked down. He even got back up, and even after getting up from this devastating shot, he was chasing Wilder around the ring to end that fight and landing some pretty big shots himself. But I'll still give Deontay Wilder that round because that shot that he landed there was without a doubt the most devastating shot of the entire fight. I mean, I think that he can get credit for that round there. There's only about maybe 2 other rounds you can give him, in my opinion, 2 or 3 other rounds, and you add the points up there, it just does not add up to him even being able to come close to a draw. The fact that one of the judges actually gave the fight to Deontay Wilder, in my opinion, is disgusting. And it's a black eye on the sport of boxing. We've seen it time and time again. It happened in the Triple G versus Canelo fight the first time around. Canelo is the cash cow. This is the guy they want to back. So they gave him the nod there. I thought that Triple G dominated that fight the first time around. Canelo did look a lot better in the rematch, but it has nothing to do with what went on the first time. But, let's just talk about Tyson Fury for a second. This guy, but before we get back into the fights, Tyson Fury, I'm a little disappointed that he doesn't have as much of a fan base as I think he should. He definitely has a big fan base across the pond. As far as the American fans, though, doesn't seem to be getting as much of a backing as I think he deserves. I think this guy is one of the most charismatic, entertaining fighters that I've ever seen. When it comes to just the pure skill level that he brings into the ring, I think that he's second to none in the game right now. I think that he's the best boxer in the game. He's never tasted defeat. The size that he has and the way that he moves around is it's ridiculous. Tyson Fury is a guy that was a premature baby. The doctors didn't even know if he was going to make it. His dad goes into the room and tells the doctor that my son, looking at his mature son, my son here is going to be the heavyweight champion of the world. And they actually brought that to reality. I think that's just, his whole story is amazing. Being from a gypsy family, growing up since a little kid, just surrounded by fighting and boxing. I don't know, as a fight fan, how can you not love Tyson Fury's story? He had a little issue where he was going through some depression and whatnot, but made his return back to the boxing ring, and he's been tearing it up. This is a guy that calls his shots. If you remember when he was versing Klitschko, he told nobody was touching Klitschko at that time. Fury went in there with not nearly as many fights as Klitschko at the time. He said he was going to go in there and handle business, and he went in there, and that's exactly what he did. Took the title, and this guy's just been constantly calling his shots. I just don't understand why he doesn't get as much love as he should. I think he should be one of the biggest. He pretty much is, but I think he should be the biggest face of the fight game, of the boxing world, man. This guy is just such an awesome dude. I feel like in that first fight, we'll go back to how the fight ended up being a draw. There's guys like Max Kellerman, Stephen A. Smith, all these guys that are on ESPN that typically are never going to back a guy like Tyson Fury over a guy like Deontay Wilder. If you know how ESPN's run and all those commentators and whatnot, they're just not going to root for a guy like Tyson Fury over Deontay Wilder for a couple different reasons. And even they admitted that Tyson Fury should have won that fight, and it was a bad decision. When you got guys like Kellerman admitting that, that's how you even know it's a fact. And the reason why Kellerman had to come out and admit that, because he knew that if he were to try to back Wilder, saying, "Oh yeah, it was a close fight, Wilder could have got the nod," he knew that he would have lost credibility as a boxing expert. Because if you know what you're watching, the fight was not close. Tyson Fury was outpointing him in every round. The head movement, the feints were beautiful. He was outlanding Wilder at astonishing rates during the fight. And, Wilder was headhunting. He was looking for that big shot. He landed it in that one round, but you know what? It wasn't enough. Fury got back up and again starts marching Wilder down and ends the fight chasing Wilder around the ring. What an epic fight. They constantly refer to Wilder as a guy that has that eraser in his hand, that magic eraser. I do agree with that. His power is ridiculous. It's probably second to none in all of boxing. The guy is a freak. He's built like a superhero, and that's another reason why I do believe that Fury might not get the respect that he deserves. Fury is a guy that's a little softer on the midsection. He's long. He's a big boy, and I don't know. I just feel like he doesn't fit that look that the typical American fan likes when they're rooting for these guys, and they don't understand that it's not necessarily about how you look; it's about how you perform. And he's a magician in there. Some of you guys will get funny about stuff like this, but I remember telling somebody before the first time, I said, Tyson Fury reminds me more of a Muhammad Ali type of fighter more than anybody I've ever seen. The way he moves, the way for his size, the way that he's so light, and the way he feints and his head movement. You name me another heavyweight fighter that moves like Tyson Fury or Muhammad Ali, and people will go crazy. I remember I was at a party, somebody was going nuts. How dare you? How dare you? Because people get caught up in their stigma of things. Oh, Muhammad Ali's untouchable, this and that. Let me tell you what, Tyson Fury can hang with all those guys from the past. I know everybody wants to talk about the glory days of boxing. Let me tell you what, man, the athletes of today, they're bigger, they're stronger. We have more science. They have better diets. Listen, if we were able to have a time machine, I'm not even going to go there, but if we had a time machine and you were able to see modern fighters against those fighters from back then, you guys would be surprised. A lot of you listen to your dads and your grandpas about the boxing and this and that, from you hear these stories and you guys get caught up into it and you're a little bit out of touch with reality. Tyson Fury could hang with any boxing heavyweight champion from any era. He's one of the greatest and he needs to get more respect. That's how I feel about it, man. As you guys feel, I'm a little bit passionate about it because he's legit, man. He's very, very legit. You guys are going to find out again in the trilogy. Let's go back to the second fight, right? In the second fight, he comes in, the Gypsy King comes in, he tells everybody that he's going to come into this fight, he's going to look to take Wilder out. He's not playing games. He's not going to get screwed on the scorecards again. He's coming to take him out. Training over there with at the gym with Kronk Kronk Gym, I believe it's called, and those guys do a lot of big time things over there. I don't know if we have it over here, but you guys know what I'm talking about, man. It's an excellent boxing gym. Kronk, they've trained a lot of big time guys, and they have a very aggressive type of boxing training regimen. They go in there to take you out. That was exactly what Tyson Fury did. He said he was going to do that, and that's exactly what he did. And that's why he says he has the biggest balls in the boxing game. I believe it. This guy calls his shots. He says he's going to do something. He does it. And now he's saying he's going to go in there and he's going to take out Wilder for the third time. I believe him. I think if you're doubting him, you're crazy. But back to the second fight where Tyson Fury absolutely dismantled Wilder. He wasn't playing games. He wasn't in there just to outclass him like he did the first time on the scorecards. He's like, you know what? I'm going to go in there and show you what this is really about. What I'm really about. And Fury's a guy that's been training boxing since he was a little kid. Wilder, on the other hand, is a guy that got into the boxing game a little bit late. He's a freak athlete. But when it comes to the sport of boxing, Wilder has nothing for him. The head movement, the jab, the feints, all that type of stuff. Fury's on a whole different level than Wilder. And when push came to shove, you saw what happened. As far as I was concerned, that was one of the biggest, how do I say this, man? Just one of the most dominating fights that I've ever seen. One of the most just absolutely brutal fights that I've seen. I feel like Tyson Fury went in there and just stole Wilder's soul in there. He was licking the blood off his neck, just chasing him around the ring, man, just pounding him down. And, you saw Wilder, his legs were all weak. And, Wilder really had a weak personality after that fight. He started blaming everybody but himself. Started talking about Fury put stuff in his gloves. Listen, if you actually believe that Fury was able to get away with putting some type of stuff in his gloves, or even if he was able to, which is still a joke, if you think that benefited him enough to do what he did because he was just completely outclassing him with his movement, and you think heavy weights in your gloves are going to make that make you any better in there, which it's just a joke anyway, the fact that you don't think that they checked that. I don't know, man. Maybe you shouldn't be following my channel because you're just, you're a flat earther. You're one of those people that think every single fight's fixed, and it's hard for me to deal with you types of people. But, the fact was Fury went out there, dominated Wilder, and it was what it was. It was a complete mismatch. And I had a blast that night. I remember I was at the local bar. I was out front. All the Wilder fans were out front, looking over at me, grilling me. I was the only one sitting there going crazy for the Gypsy King, and they're all looking at me, and I'm just, I got a kick out of it because, obviously I don't give a damn regardless. They don't know that it's the teller sitting across from them over there. But, I was having a blast. I was screaming. I didn't give a damn, man. And I'm sure they didn't really appreciate that or they didn't like it. But you know what? If it was the other way around, they would have been doing the same thing and I would have sat there and it wouldn't have bothered me at all. You know what I mean? But sometimes it's like that, right? When you're watching sports. But again, Fury goes in there, dismantles Wilder. And now we have a trilogy fight based on the fact that there's just nothing really else going on in the heavyweight division. Anthony Joshua is scared to fight either of these men, but you got to give Wilder credit because Wilder is a guy that's willing to fight anybody. Wilder is stepping up. I mean, he has nothing to lose here. Obviously, he's already lost 2 times, so why wouldn't he fight him here again? Fury, you got to give credit to Fury. He's already beaten this guy basically twice, and he's going in there to take him out again. In my opinion, you got to give him credit there as well. So how do I see this fight going down? I think that Tyson Fury is going to go out there and do what he says he's going to do. He says he's going to go out there and knock him the F out. That's what he's going to do. And I think that's exactly what he's going to do. I think he's going to be more confident in here than ever. He's going to push that pace from the beginning again. And I think that he's going to land a big shot this time on Wilder. Now, keep this in mind. Again, got to give credit where credit's due. I said it earlier in the video, and I'll say it again. Deontay Wilder has more power in his hands than any man possibly walking the earth, man. This guy's power is ridiculous. Okay? So if he does land that shot, obviously he could end the fight. I mean, he could end the fight on anybody, man. I think that Deontay Wilder could knock a horse out. Like, I'm not even kidding about that. I think he could knock out a cow, a mule, a donkey. I mean, this guy, I don't know if he can knock out a rhino or a hippopotamus, but the guy, if you guys catch my drift, the guy has crazy power in his hands. But Tyson Fury is the way to go. You're talking about the superior boxer here, a guy that has a 2-inch reach, which is, it's not much. It's not saying much. It's just the fact that he knows how to box. He's a better boxer. Okay, a little bit taller. He's a mountain of a man, 6'9". I talked about that movement. Remember earlier we talked about that movement? He's 6'9". Look at the way he moves in the ring. Look at the way he moves in there, man. Give the guy credit where it's due. And again, very, very disrespectful to Tyson Fury that he has this draw there. A complete robbery. I think I went on about that enough. I don't know. Should I say more about that? I mean, come on. What a joke. But again, be wary of the Bronze Bomber. Got to give credit to him as well. The guy has crazy power, but I'm going to say he doesn't land that big shot. I'm going to say that Tyson Fury is able to avoid that. And then once this fight starts to go on and he really starts to hurt Wilder, you'll see Wilder kind of be out on his feet again like he was in the second fight. So that's why I'm taking Tyson Fury. If you want to bet on this fight, you're getting Tyson Fury right around that minus 300 range. You got to put up $300 to win $100 back. I don't think it's necessarily a bad play. I think at the end of the day, Tyson Fury is going to be getting his hand raised. So if you want to try to capitalize, make some money there. Remember, guys, if you're looking for a sports book, Bovada.lv is one of the best out there, and in my opinion, the best. It's what I use personally. If you're looking for a nice new sports book, reach out to me. My email's below. My Instagram, you see it scrolling on the bottom. And I got a Twitter as well. Shoot me a message, however it's more convenient for you. And I could send you guys my referral link. I will also give you some free bets for signing up through my link. So if you guys are interested in that, and I'll help you out and show you how it all works if you're new to sports betting, or if you're just new to the site and you're wondering how some things work, I'm here to help you out with all of that. And that's pretty much going to wrap things up here, guys. Comment below. Who do you guys have winning this fight? I know I ruffled a couple of your guys' feathers. I'm sure some of you guys didn't even stick around after I kind of went in a little bit on Wilder. But I call it as I see it. Pay respects to the Gypsy King. He's going to be coming in with his crown, and he's going to be leaving the ring with his crown. He is the king of boxing, and you guys got to respect it, man. It is what it is. He's the best boxer in the game right now. And he's one of the greatest heavyweight boxers of all time. One of the greatest heavyweight champions, the lineal champion, Tyson Fury. Start respecting it. He's only 33 years old, and he'll be doing more damage in the near future. I don't think he's going anywhere. So, of course, the pick is Tyson Fury. All right, guys. You'll be hearing more from me. We got some UFC fights going down Saturday, too. I'll be all over Instagram in the stories. Go follow me there. MMA Fortune Teller _. All right, guys. Signing out. Teller.
The MMA Fortune Teller.
The teller. The teller. The teller. The teller. The teller.